lovelies, and welcome back to the Lovely Digest. Today I'm coming at you with a cooking video. I'm super excited. When I first found out that I had Crohn's and was probably gonna have to cut out sugar out of my diet, I lost it a little bit. So every single night I would always make dessert. I could not go to bed without dessert, so finding out that I couldn't have sugar was a bit traumatic. So my solution was Googling a ton of sugar-free desserts and messing around with all of them, because I don't know about you, but the idea of sugar-free desserts just sounds awful. But I genuinely found a really great alternative, and I found a couple of others, but I'll just share this one with you because it's my absolute favorite. It's chocolate chip cookies. So the only ingredient that is kind of sugary in them are the chocolate chips and honey. So they're actually very good, easily digestible. And I am just gonna dive right into this video. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so I'm going to start by showing you all the ingredients. If you want to take a minute and pause here, I will go through all of them as I start cooking, but here's a quick overview. First, we're going to start with a half a cup of water mixed with a 1/4 cup of honey, and then 6 tablespoons of coconut oil. And then after this, you're going to want to stick it in the microwave. I just stick it in for about a minute on 3 so that it melts slowly all together and then doesn't create lumps in the dough when I go to mix them together. And then for the dries, I'm going to start with a cup of almond flour and then a cup of white flour. This just is so the almond flour doesn't completely soak up all of the wet ingredients and make the dough really wet. And then I'm going to do a half a teaspoon of baking soda. I kind of used a lot here, but it ended up turning out okay. And some pink Himalayan salt or just regular salt. I like a lot of salt actually, so feel free to add more if you like it. And then as you can see, not all of the coconut oil melted down, so I'm just taking some time to mix all of that in. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I just want to make sure that there's not going to be any lumps. And then I'm adding some vanilla, about a teaspoon. And now I'm going to go ahead and mix that into my dry. And I have a stand mixer, so that's how I mix this all up. But before I do that, I almost forgot the cinnamon. I just kind of put however much I feel like. The original recipe that I went off of didn't include cinnamon, so that's just something that I added. So after my first initial mixing, the batter was still quite wet, so I went ahead and added another about a 1/4 cup of white flour. Just do it as needed. My almond flour this time was a new almond flour, and so it didn't work as I usually do it, so just start with a cup of almond flour. And now I use the Enjoy Life chocolate chips. They are free of any allergens, and I found that they don't really bother my stomach at all. So I do a large handful of these, and then I'm going to go ahead and chop them up. Or if you just have mini chocolate chips, you can use like a 1/4 cup of mini chocolate chips, but I feel like breaking up the chunks means a lot of chocolatey goodness in there, and then I can usually put a couple of extra chunks on the top of the cookie and they melt so nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and add these in and then mix it all together. In the meantime, you want to make sure to preheat your oven to 350 and line a baking sheet with parchment paper. When the dough first comes out, it may seem a little bit oily. Trust me, they won't come out oily at all. So you're just going to go ahead and roll these however you want to. I do quite large cookies and then press them down. They don't really spread out at all, so you can kind of pack them in close together. So you're going to go ahead and put those in for, I
I usually do around 12 minutes, but set your timer for 9 minutes and just keep checking on them. Sometimes I found that the cookies are done a little bit faster than normal. You just want the bottoms to be a little bit brown, and then if they look a little bit undone on top, just leave them on top of the cookie sheet out of the oven for a little while and they'll continue to bake a little bit. So here is the final cookie. Not the most beautiful thing in the world, but they definitely are super tasty, and don't worry if yours don't look exactly like mine. Every single time I make these cookies, which is at least once a week, they come out looking completely different. This time they're a little bit darker than normal, so oh well. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Thank you so much for watching.